Hi everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I know a lot of you have been enjoying my comparison videos today, and I have a really good video on very comparable vehicles today. So we're going to compare the 2024 Honda hr-v Sport to the 2024 Buick Encore GX. This is the preferred trim level, so these are pretty close, even though the preferred trim level is the bottom trim level, the entry trim level, and obviously the Sport is not on the hr-v. But these models do have a lot of similar features and functionality. And interestingly enough, when I line these up side by side in just a minute here, they look a lot alike from the front. There are some changes to the Encore GX for 2024, some significant changes, especially within the interior. It is a refresh, it's not a full redesign as the hr-v received for the 2022 model year, or I should say 2023 model year. Getting a little bit behind on my information there, but we got it right. So we're going to compare these two and see what the similarities and the differences are. One thing right off the bat, $24,100 is the entry-level price, or the base price for the hr-v. You're looking at $25,600 for the Encore GX, but I think you're going to find out when we look into the interior why there is a difference. From this particular vantage point, you can see that the front end of both models do have some similarities, while at the same time definitely having some differences. The grills are ultimately located in the same positions, but the grille on the hr-v is a little bit more narrow, not quite as large as what we have over here on the Encore GX. And for 2024, there are some changes here on the front end, some exterior changes overall, including the Tri-Shield Buick logo. That's going to be here on the front and the rear. This is the first production model to actually see that happen. We'll have the LED headlights and LED daytime running lights. You will find the new design up here, as you can see. And obviously all of that changed for 2023 with the hr-v. Both models feature 18-inch wheels. 19-inch wheels are also available for the Encore. And you can go with front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, depending on how you want to option your vehicle out. The same applies to both. Now, like I said, we are basically one trim level apart. We got as close as we could based on what was available. These were the only models available on the Buick lot and the Honda lot of these two vehicles. So we just have to deal with what we have to deal with. Now, you have gloss black as the mirror cap on the hr-v, body color on the Encore GX, and you'll notice a difference right here. The hr-v has the turn signal indicator built in on the Sport trim level, and obviously the Encore GX does not. And we do see a little bit of a difference in overall designs for the side view mirrors. Both have blind spot monitoring. And when it comes to the doors, we're going to find the body color door handles here on the hr-v. The Encore GX has a combination of chrome and body color. Now, both of these in theory work the same. You have the smart key, proximity key I should say, where you can walk up and touch the door handle. Since I have everything turned on right now, you're not going to hear it beep or anything like that, but you can lock and unlock the interior with that. You can do the same thing here with the Encore GX, but you push the button right here. It's called passive entry, and it's on the front and on the rear. That's a good thing for parents because you can come in and come right to the rear where you need to go first, put the kids in the car seats, and you can lock and unlock both doors from the rear door on both sides. Now, you do have a little bit of a difference in trim. We do have some chrome here on the Encore GX. We don't have that on the hr-v. Tell me what your thoughts are on that. And obviously we finished things off on both models with the rear roof spoiler. Somewhat of a similar look here and similar roof lines, as you can see, and a clean look on the rear. LED taillights are available on the ST and Avenir as far as the Buick goes. And you can see again, we have that new Tri-Shield logo here on the rear. Didn't get a full redesign for 2024 as we did with the hr-v for 2023. Just to be honest, that's what we have, at least for now. When it comes to what's under the hood of each model, there are going to obviously be some differences. Some you might expect, some you might not. So we'll start over here with the hr-v. There is one engine offering. It's the 2-liter 4-cylinder that we see right here. It makes 158 horsepower, 138 pounds-feet of torque. It's mated to a continuously variable transmission, as is the case with the Encore GX. Now, how about MPGs? 26 city, 32 highway, 28 combined, and 3.6 gallons of gas is what Honda says you should use with the hr-v per every 100 miles you drive. In the case of the Encore GX, there are 2 engine options available, very similar to one another. Both are 3-cylinders. You have the 1.2-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder as we have here. It makes 137 horsepower, 162 pounds-feet of torque, and like I said earlier, both of these vehicles are using a continuously variable single-speed transmission. But what about MPGs? Well, as you would expect, you're going to find some different numbers here. 30 city, 31 highway, 30 combined, and 3.3 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And if you want to, you can step up to the 1.3-liter 3-cylinder. It makes 155 horsepower and 174 pounds-feet of torque. Again, going to be mated to the continuously variable single-speed transmission. So you do have a couple of different options where these models are concerned. As far as the Encore GX goes, you have the singular engine offering with the hr-v. Both definitely get down the road with absolutely no problem. I have driven the Encore GX quite a bit today, and obviously have driven the hr-v quite a bit in the last year and a half. But I can say that both get down the road with absolutely no problem. Their power to weight ratio seems to work well. I know a lot of people might say, I'm just not sure about that 3-cylinder engine. Tell me what your thoughts are about the engine offerings between the 2 vehicles. If you want to tow with each model, the towing capacity specs are the same, coming in at 1,000 pounds. Cargo capacity on the Encore GX is going to be 23.5 up to 50.2 cubic feet. The floor here is actually movable. You can see that you have a couple of different positions there where you can position the floor itself here. One thing that will definitely be the same between both is the fact that you're going to find a spare tire under each floor. That's good news. No tire repair kits among these 2 models. And obviously you can maximize cargo capacity by lowering the rear seats. And there's not a massive difference here with the CR-V. A little more cargo capacity, 24 up to 55 cubic feet. So, well, depending on what your situation is, if you want a little extra space, well, the hr-v might be the model for you. You will find the LED lighting back here as well as the 12-volt power outlet, and just the same as is the case with the Encore GX is going to be the fact that you can lower the rear seats. They do lower and lay completely flat in both models. That's a good thing. That means that it's a lot easier to take advantage of your maximum cargo capacity. And taking a look into the back seat area of the hr-v, we can find soft touch materials here for the armrest, the nice contrast stitching, and a bottle holder. Good thing that's there because those are the only cup holders here in the back seat area of this particular model. You will find the rear seat pockets, no air conditioning vents, and no USB connectivity back here. But it's not a big deal for the price point, I wouldn't say, and no sunroof. All right, now we're going to give equal time to the Encore GX as far as the back seat area goes. Now we do have pretty much the same size door bin here. We do have the soft touch materials and contrast stitching, be it that it's white, so not quite as maybe decorative and eye-catching as what we saw in the hr-v, but for everybody that could be different as well. So we're going to have the rear seat pockets, but again, no air conditioning vents. Now there is one difference back here. You will find a couple of USB options as far as that goes, and no sunroof here either. The biggest difference between the 2, besides what's under the hood, is going to be found in what you'll find here in the front seat area as far as features and functionality go. This hr-v is based on the same platform. It is sitting on the same platform as the 2022 and 2023 Honda Civics, the 11th generation of the Civic. So here are where the differences are found. While this model has a very nice modern instrument cluster, it looks good, it looks relevant for this day and age, You also have the infotainment screen here. Now there are two different options. This is the 7-inch. You can also go with the 9-inch, which is optional. And depending on trim level will determine what you get there. Pretty simple system here to learn, pretty simple technology as far as everything goes. Easy to pair your phone, whether you're doing it wirelessly with Bluetooth or you use your USB cable to use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, which it is compatible with that. In this case, we have single zone climate control with heated seats only. We could use ventilated seats, but no big deal. A little bit more in the way of connectivity right there. In fact, we actually have connectivity here as well down in the pass-through. I really like that pass-through. There's things that just fit in there perfectly that I like to put there. If I drive the hr-v, you do have the USB connectivity on both sides, conventional style shifter, and you pretty much know what else is here. Now there is a difference here in the height of the center console. This one's a little bit lower here in the hr-v, but there is a reasonable amount of space within. I don't know that that's that big of a deal. The design pattern on the cloth seats does look nice, and like I said earlier, I think that the contrast stitching here with the hr-v a little more eye-catching. Tell me what you think about that. Give you a quick look at the overall look and design of the dash. Now you see that flickering effect right there. That has to do with the shutter speed of my GoPro. It's a common GoPro problem. It has nothing to do with this Honda hr-v. Okay, now we're going to take a look into the front seat area and the technology of the Encore GX. Standard across all trim levels. You don't have multiple options here. No matter which model you get, since this is the preferred base model, you still get the total of 19 inches worth of screen here. It looks very nice, very modern, very impressive. So what it is an 8-inch digital instrument cluster and the 11-inch touchscreen. Definitely a big change for 2024 where that is concerned. You can see that it has a little bit of curvature to it. It's angled towards the driver. Very much a driver-focused vehicle where that is concerned. And that is where the biggest changes are going to be. And like I said earlier, you have the sport trim level over there. That's the mid-range on the hr-v. Here on the lowest trim level for the Encore GX, you don't have to worry about toting a USB cable with you to use Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Everything is wireless here. That's a good thing. A simple system to use as far as the screen goes, and hopefully you can see everything pretty well here. I know we have a little bit of a glare, but you can see what all is here. I'll even go into reverse. Now this is one difference between the two. We have the singular view on the rear view camera. You have a multi-view rear view camera on the hr-v. We do have single zone climate control here, the same as we did on the hr-v. Similar shifter setup and all that good stuff. But like I said, the center console sits a little bit higher, a little bit easier to use as an armrest. You do have pretty much the same amount of space, although you have the removable tray right here. Quite a bit of space down there as well. And then one difference here will be the USB connectivity. We do have a couple available here. You have 3 on the hr-v. You do have the 12-volt power outlet there as well. And just because I wanted to make sure I give fair time, here is the multi-view rear view camera on the hr-v. This is going to be something that you'll get on this trim level. It does have a little bit more in that way, but obviously depending on the trim level that you buy of the Encore GX, well, you're going to also have more camera views. So tell me what your thoughts are now that we've compared these two, at least to a degree. We haven't covered every little nut, bolt, and nook and cranny, but we've covered the highlights. Which model do you prefer and why? Are there certain features you'd like to see on both? Maybe something on the hr-v or on the Buick that you wish was on the other. Tell me what your thoughts are. And tell me if you plan to buy one of these models. Maybe you're looking at both and trying to make a decision. Hopefully my video helped you out. So I have to say a special thanks to my friends at Morgan Buick GMC for loaning me the Buick Encore GX and Holmes Honda for loaning me the Honda hr-v Sport. I also want to say a special thanks to each and every one of you for giving me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video and would like to learn about other vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.